Girl Lady L with Reach, and we're coming to you live with a lot of great people, and we want to share it with you today. Okay, so the topic is who knows? Do you? I've got some people that are out in the field. We're going to talk to them in just a moment, but I've got some amazing people that I have in house right now in my home who's here to discuss with you this topic. So we got Jalen. Jalen, say hey.
Hey, how you doing?
Even though you can't see yourself, that's okay. Say hey, DeAndre.
Hey, how you doing?
Okay, it's dark over there, so I need y'all to come over here. We got Z in the house. Hi. And then we've got AJ in the house. Hello. And we have Daz in the house. What up? Okay, so topic today is who knows, do you? In the field, we have got, I need you to actually go to Zoom so I can see them. In the field, we have got Miss Summer. Summer, let me hear you.
Hi.
Hey.
I'm glad I finally here. You can see me.
Okay, so tell us your name and where you're from.
Okay, my name is Summer Mensa, and I'm from Stafford, Virginia, the East Coast.
Okay, we got Melvin. Give us your name and where you're from.
My name is Melvin. I'm from Dallas, Texas.
Hey, Melvin. All right, Will. Let us know your name and where you're from. What you repping, sir?
My name is William, and I'm live from Stephenville.
All right, Darius.
I'm Darius. I'm live from Largo, Florida.
Wow, look at that. Okay, we got T. She on deck. She's a part of the board. Say hey to the people. Say hey to the peeps, Tam.
What up?
Go get your father. Okay, so here's what we're gonna talk about. Who knows? We're talking about some things, like I was saying before, millennials are saying nobody actually talks to them. So we're talking to you. You're gonna talk to your peers. What are some things that you feel like you could help somebody who's just graduating high school, because it's graduation season, people are going to prom, they're all excited, they're all in a dress, everybody's posting about them going, and they're like, oh, this is my dress. They got on their matching outfits, brothers, and they are clean. Now, what things after the prom do you wish you had have known moving forward? So we're talking just from high school. We're just gonna go straight from high school to just graduating. What do you wish that somebody could have actually told you? Summer, talk to us.
That your future is not set in stone. I think that's a misconception from elementary school. They were like, oh, when you go to middle school, it's not going to be this way. When you go to high school, it's not going to be this way. College, not going to be this way. And basically, they're trying to restrict you more. And that's I think the biggest misconception, I think, is there are so many possibilities that can happen in this life, and things really can't be as constricted as people make them seem. So
good stuff, girl. Yeah, we started off good. All right, Jalen, what you got?
Well, what I would say is that one thing I wish, like you said, from elementary and on, I wish we could have had more classes teaching about life, preparing us. You can't always prepare and be ready for you can't always be ready for everything. What I mean by be ready, I mean you can't always like, hey, I'm gonna have this all together when I get out of school and have this. But you can be well prepared to take on any test. I think that should be like more accounting, taxing classes, things like that, showing how to, have great credit in life, how to have money, time management, like you said. I think those things they could have implemented or, gave us to use as tools for life. So when we got out of school, that if we didn't even go to college or anything, then we'll be well prepared to take on tasks in life.
All right. Okay, he did that. Okay, so now we're talking about credit. Okay, so by a show of hands, for those of you on the field, I need to see your hand. How many of you knew what credit and how it actually was going to affect you personally when you got to college or wherever your next destination is? None of y'all. Oh, wow. Okay, so what kind of awakening?
It was like half.
Well,
Oh, yes, ma'am. So with credit, it was also very important when it came to cars, and it also came important when it was apartments and things like that. When you got to college, where you want to live, location, it also affects you in many ways, where you may have a good job or a down payment on a car. I wish high school would have told us more things about that, about how important credit is, because we also have many people that's out here that's lost, don't understand how important credit is, and if you have bad credit, you may not get the things, resources you may
Right.
have to help.
Darius, now if you had to go, that is very good. Thank you, Melvin. So Darius, if you had to go back and talk to somebody, let's say that just got finished with their prom and they think they got it on lock, can you tell them, how would you tell them about credit? In your way, how would you explain to them the importance of it? They just feel like I got a full ride, I'm good.
It's like I said, in life, pretty much it's always good to have debt, but good debt. And credit is a very important way of sustaining your life. Like the way you said, apartment, cars, um, even jobs, and even places where you go to school, they check your credit. And when I got out of high school, and personally, when I tried to, I guess, set up a credit card or try to learn more about it, I couldn't get anything because it said I had no credit. And so I was just like, how can I get credit if I don't have credit? But yeah, they want me to have a
You
credit
got
card.
an amen corner over here. They praising the Lord over here. They with you.
And so, honestly, I was just blessed to know in the very beginning, once I get a credit card, don't just go out and spend like you have money. Like you got to pay it back. So when I got it, I just got like gas and stuff in my car, and I just slowly I built it up. Then I slowly started paying it off. And I know some people, they had credit cards since they were like 17 because their parents were able to get them credit cards. So some people do have the luxury of having it, but at the same time, there's a lot of people who have no idea the process of getting it. So they get the credit card, don't realize the interest on it, buy all these purchases and products, then go, wait, I have $100 in interest. How do I pay that back? And since I used to work in sales, I used to sell credit cards. So I was just like, I understood the process of how the credit affects your purchases and how important it is to pay it off. Once you get it, then let it linger. Because that's the thing that credit card companies want you to do. They want you to buy it and let it sit because the interest keeps going up and up. And so that's how they make their money.
Look at them teach. Yes. All right, Will, what about you? Did you experience anything when it came to credit? Where were you at? Where was your mindset?
The thing about credit, in high school, didn't know that credit was needed. When I graduated, didn't know credit was needed. I had no credit was needed until I tried to get my first car. And they was like, well, your mom needs a cosign. I was like, what she need cosign for? I didn't know about the first time buyer. I didn't know about 18.9 APR is terrible. I didn't know none of this stuff. I wish I would have known before I even walked into a dealership. It's really like they don't teach us about life. They wanted to teach us the fundamentals, like book to book. I mean, sometimes it's good to be street smart. Sometimes it's good to learn what you would need to know on the streets. And I'm not saying the streets. I'm saying as I walked in that dealership, I wish I would have known that I should have built credit right when I came out of high school.
Okay, so that guy who's fly just got finished with prom. He says, "I'm good. I'm going to college. College is paid for." And you have an opportunity to tell him about credit. What would you say?
I say start early. Start with something little. Probably maybe renting a TV and just paying everything on time.
That's good. Very good. Thank you, Will. All right, sir. What about you? He went into the military. So how did that affect, how was that different for you? Because you went straight from high school to the military. So how did credit affect you?
It was basically the same thing, but in basic, they gave us what's known as a star card, which is basically a credit card, but you can't use it anywhere. You have to specifically use it at this place, and this place. So they say, all right, we're going to the PAs, get our haircuts, get whatever you need for the berries. You can only spend it. So that means you can't go out to Burger King, can't go to Wendy's,
Right.
get a double cheeseburger and whatnot. But and it restricts you. So in a way, it's teaching you, all right, we're giving you a little bit of leash, not enough to hang yourself with it, but just enough so you can you know, run around the yard. But after we got out of basic, it enabled us to know, okay, I have this mindset to where I have a little bit of money. I can save about 10%. The other, act like it don't exist. Forget about it.
That's good. That's some good stuff. I mean, I can tell you, we didn't know anything. I mean, as clearly we can tell you that it's changed, that part has not changed, because we didn't even, come on over here, young man. Young man is in my husband. Come on over here, young man. Share with the people about our experience when it comes to credit.
Well, really, one of the things that my wife and I that we've learned is the fact that, yeah, I'm glad that you guys are talking about credit, because, man, we just didn't get it. You know, when we got out of high school, we didn't know anything about credit or anything like that, and how much it affects you. Being at the age that we are now, I really wish that somebody would have taken the time to really tell me about all this stuff, because what I keep trying to tell my children is the fact that, hey, credit, man, will make your car payments cheaper, will make it easier to buy a house, all of that, instead of having to go to these tote-the-note places to go get a raggedy car that's going to break down on you, you know, because your credit's jacked up. So we had to learn the hard way. So I really am glad that that now we know that, and we're trying to make sure that you guys know that too. So a lot of you guys have already experienced some of this stuff already. So really, man, just keep sort of spreading the word, making sure that everybody understands how important credit is. Because my parents, they told me, man, never get credit cards, never do this, never do that, because they didn't know. Nobody taught them. And in return, nobody taught us. So make sure that you guys are continuing to spread the word. You know, the more we help each other, the better that all of us are going to be. Right?
Very good. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, ma'am.
No, okay, so continuing on the whole thing of credit, like he said, the good point was, it was like, have the cash, save your money, put it under the mattress, put it, stick it in the drawer somewhere, stick it up underneath your underwear drawer, because for whatever reason they felt like people weren't going to go in your underwear. They'll go anywhere if they know you got money there. Truth be told. Okay, so that's where it was like, save up your money and go pay cash for things, because that was our family's mentality. So we came into it thinking, okay, well, we've got some money, which really wasn't that much, but it was like, we just have to save up. That actually did not really help us, because we did not understand. So when he talked about them tote-the-note places, we spent more money fixing the car than we did paying for the car note. There's nothing like when things are leaking from everywhere and you have no clue what to do. You don't have the money. So anyway, I digress. I'm having a flashback, y'all. I'm having a flashback. Woo. Okay, so how many of you knew about bank accounts?
Tiny.
You kind of know some. All right, so did you get a check, or did you have one before you got out of high school, or when you get to college, did you have a checking account, Summer?
Yeah, I had, actually my elementary school started us real early. They said, here's a savings account, and I had one by like 5th grade. And so, wow. Yeah.
How did you go to?
I don't know what's going on East Coast, but like it's give and take. But that was one thing they started. It was like, oh, put in $1. And so they kind of had something set up for the little kids. So I thought that was like a good start for us. And so I had been with the same bank up till about high school to now. And so I've been kind of like loading on. I added checking just recently because you need your checking account. But that's about the extent I knew when it comes to make accounts.
Very good. What about you, Melvin? You got a checking account. Did you understand the whole thing about direct deposit and fees and all of that kind of stuff? Were you prepared for that?
Yes, ma'am. Checking and savings is very important. My parents was telling me about that, a little bit about that, so I can get my feet wet. So also when I had work, put, $50 in checkings just in case, rainy day funds, things like that.
Rainy day funds. Yes, Lord.
It's important to have. So most of it will depend on, savings, having savings set up. So like a good amount of money in savings just in case of rainy day, like I was just saying. And checking also came in handy because, overdraft fees and things like that. If you take much money out of it, then you may get penalized for that. They also didn't teach us about that in high school, about overdraft fees and direct deposits, with jobs and things like that as well.
Overdraft fees. All right. Have you experienced The overdraft fee, suction vacuum. You experienced that? Talk to us.
So one thing that the military does is direct deposit. When you have direct deposit, bills come out automatically. Well, when your bills come out automatically, you forget about them. So when that Netflix and that Hulu hit, it's like, wait. Oh man, I ain't have enough that week. I was like, all right, well, that's the bad side. The good side, have more than one bank. So what I do is, I have my Chase account, which is my everyday, but I always also have a bank with my church. So I keep Black money circulating. So that's one thing that we as Black people need to start thinking about. Rebuild or try to rebuild Black Wall Street. Keep everything in our neighborhoods Black.
Boy, he done got all extra deep on us and stuff. You know, we weren't ready. You got to prepare us for you to get all deep. I'm like, whoa. He's talking about multiple accounts and Black Wall Street. What? Wait, bro. We need to get on our books and stuff. We need to be ready for this. All right, Z. Okay, so the overdraft fees. Talk to us.
Those are stressful. Because a lot of times, whenever I had set up my checking account, I went to the website and it had an option that says, do you want overdraft protection or not? And I was like, no, I'm good. If I don't have enough money for it, just don't give it to me. Just like decline it. And so it was fine at first and it would do that. And then all of a sudden I see a negative 35 on my account and I'm like, what is that? And it was because something had been taken out and I didn't even know about it. So I didn't realize it. And then I just kept getting more negative. I'm like, how are you going to keep charging me for things when I don't have the money? What type of sense does that make? And so I just had it ended up just getting I just got deeper and deeper until I actually got a job. And of course that was the time where I was in between jobs. And so that's just really stressful because whenever you think you have the choice of whether to do something or not, and then they still do it anyway. That's a frustrating thing. So overdraft, even though I clicked the option of not having that overdraft protection, they still charge me that negative 35, and then they keep charging you. So that's one thing just to kind of look out for, is that they'll still probably charge you anyway, even though you don't want to.
Let me tell you. So them overdraft fees, listen, you like this, I can't pay my bill, I'm still negative, what am I gonna do? Your voice get all cracky and you get all nervous and you know you gotta talk to your parents. Woo! All right, talk to us, Jalen.
Yes, considering, I don't know if you might know, considering that I work for a bank, or kind of still is working for a bank, a Capital One bank, yeah. So the overdraft fee is overdraft protection. So they have overdraft protection to where for us is that if you have a savings account or another account, you can connect that account. So if you have, say something comes out, like we were saying, auto pay, like you have a car note, comes out and it overdrafts the account, well, by a certain time of that day, money in increments of 100 will be pulled out from the other account that's linked to it to cover that overdraft. So that's if your bank provides it. But overdraft fees can be excessive. They can be very overwhelming, and they could. People will call in all the time saying, "Can I refund you this? Can you refund me that fee? Can you refund me this fee?" People will go back all the way to 2015 about a fee that they saw. But because $35 is excessive when you look at it, and it adds up, 3 overdraft fees, you already have $105 negative in the account. And then per se, you get a check or you get direct deposit, it takes away from that. And so you short up that check. So I would just say, if you don't want it, if you, like you said, have another account as well. And then if you just need, to overdraft your account, I would say take all of it at once, because Capital One is a bank. They only give you 1 overdraft fee per transaction. Now some will do 35, if you per transaction. After that, a certain time to put it back in, or they'll charge another fee. But I would just say have another bank where you have positive funds in, or if you have a credit card that you use very well, use that as well.
Look at y'all teaching y'all act like y'all know some stuff. All right, yes. Y'all done got real deep. I got some smart folks on. We weren't surrounded. We We should have had some different people. We had the wrong friends. We were all broken, all dumb together. Just wrong, and wronger, if that's the word. Okay, so I want us to get a little bit lighter here. There are some things, understanding that there's a point you wanted to actually make when it comes to just your peers all together. Come on over here and make that point real quick.
Okay, all right. I'll try not to sit on your lap. This time it's not that type of show. All right, so we'll sit right here. You know, something that for me, you know, being an older gentleman, something that I realized is, you know, back in high school, I was pretty good at a lot of different stuff. You know, like I was good in sports, you know, had pretty good grades and stuff like that. And so, you know, I thought I was the bomb. I ain't gonna lie, I was a little cocky. And but once I left high school and went to college, I realized that there was people who were better than me. You know, there's a lot of people that were more athletic than me. There's a lot of people that were smarter than me. You know, and then I realized as I kept living that there's always somebody better than you in something. You know, and so to me, that was a pretty big blow, you know, trying to really learning how to deal with the fact that, hey, you're not the best. And then you have to realize that you have to sort of accept the fact that you're not the best. You might be good in it, but there might be somebody that's better than you in that. And that's okay. It's all right. It's all right not to be the best at something. It's really okay. You know, and I had to learn that. And it was very hard for me to deal with that. So, you know, I question to you, have you ever been through anything like that to where you like good at something and you just know that you're the bum, but then you realize like, hey, this cat is actually better than me. Anybody ever dealt with that before? All right,
we're gonna go with Zania real quick because she already in the hot seat. Go ahead, Zen. Share with us.
Okay, so I just was thinking about when I first got to college. I felt like, well, whenever I graduated high school, like he was saying, I thought I was the bomb. Like literally, I was like graduated like number 24 in my class at like 700, and like I had like all of these scholarships to different places, and I was like, a lot of people were going to like TCC, you know, like a community college, and at that point in time, I thought that I was better than that. It's not like I was looking down at the people that were going there, but as for me personally, I thought that I was like above that. So I was like, oh yeah, it's cool. I'll figure out the money situation and all of that once I get to college. So whenever I got there, the first semester was great. Everything was paid for. What they don't tell you is that most scholarships are not recurring. That first year that I was at UNT, it was fine. But then that first semester was fine. That second semester, I started owing all this money, and I was like, but for what? I thought it was taken care of. Well, they didn't tell me that it was not recurring. So I had to try to figure out how to get the money. And even though, like, yeah, they say you apply for other scholarship, apply for grants and stuff. If you're in that gray zone, like your family's in the gray zone where like your family makes too much money to qualify for all of those special loans and stuff or special grants and stuff, but you don't make enough money to pay for it yourself, where are you gonna get that money from? Like literally my family had just enough to cover the bills at home. Anything extra, we couldn't do. So that was really frustrating. So I ended up having to move back home and take a break from school. And then I ended up owing more money. And so it just was this whole cycle. So then I had to come to realize that whenever you plan things, sometimes they don't always work out, you know? So I ended up going to a community college, and it's actually way cheaper. And you get the same education a lot of times. Those basic classes, you can get the same education and pay way less. If I would have had that mentality whenever I first got out of high school, then I wouldn't be in debt right now. Now I'm not like that much in debt, but I couldn't have been in debt at all. You know what I'm saying? So you just gotta kind of think about that.
Because them academic scholarships are amazing. They're awesome, but they don't give the same thing when it comes to academics as they do for a sports scholarship. All right, Darius, talk to us. What are your opinions on what we're talking about? Jump on in the conversation, sir.
All right. For everyone who pretty knows me, I'm extremely competitive. I hate to lose. So for me, the mentality going up is always, oh, be the best you can be. You got to be the best, number one, or you lost. So that's like how it was, especially in school. Sometimes I felt like I knew it all. I mean, My mom could probably say something different, but so when I went out to college and I seen these people and I wasn't grasping some concepts, and I see how people were just picking up easy to say, oh, like it was nothing. And I was just like, okay, how is he getting it, but I'm not? And so that was kind of, that was very frustrating. And it pretty much, it kind of puts you under a spell in a way. Like, what did I do then? I've always achieved to be the best, and if I actually put my work into it, I was pretty good at it. But I'm actually trying. I'm putting everything I can, and I'm not getting it. And when I see other people getting it, I'm just like, okay, I can't be the one in last place. I can't be the one behind somebody. I'm not used to this. And so pretty much after a time period just learn how to deal with that, I had to acknowledge I'm not the best at everything. And I had to acknowledge that sometimes you do have to lean on someone else to ask for help or ask for assistance, even though a lot of times I still don't do it. But it's just, it's something that myself I had to be able to come to grasp with. And sometimes even now, I'll be like, especially like when I was like training other people or like the AV at church, I was just like, dude, you're better at this. Let me stay here and you do it. And so that was just like, sometimes you have to step back and go like, no, you do it because I can see you're getting it better. And it's not a bad thing. That's the thing I feel like that needs to be expressed. It's not a bad thing if you're not the best at something. Sometimes someone's better. Let them do it. They can help you in the long run.
Very good. Yes. All right, Will, what you got to say? Did you go through this whole thing of did you have trouble asking for help?
I can't say it any better than my brother Darius did. I'll probably say this is my third semester in college at Tarleton State University, and this is the semester I realized I can't be scared to ask for help. I can't be scared to talk to my peers and ask for help. I mean, just asking for homework, like just asking what day this is and how can we do this homework? Can we set up a study group? I mean, because I was the first semester of college, I was that person that walked past a study group in the kitchen and be like, we actually studying? In high school, I never studied. I mean, it was, you show up to class. I mean, you was forced because, I rode the bus. If I missed the bus, I'm walking to school. I ain't going home to see my mom. But, I mean, when I got to college, it was just a lot of, like, you're not the best no more. In high school, it was a breeze. When you get to college, it's a different beast. You just got to be willing to ask for help.
Good job. Appreciate that. What you got, AJ?
Going back to, being competitive and being, first place. I don't really think it's about placing anymore. It's just about running the race. The fact that you're in the race and that you ran it is a major thing because you could have just sat out. You could have just been, benched or just, sat there, but you were running the race. The fact that you crossed the line, whether you're fifth place, you ran it. And I think that's a great thing. And at the end of the day, you just need to compete with yourself because if you compete with yourself, you always win.
This all this deep stuff. You compete with yourself, you always be number one. What? Ow. Okay. What you got? Oh, we're going to come back to me. She's going to come sit in the hot seat and she didn't even know. All right, Summer, what you got?
Whew. I feel like I can really speak well to this because my major was based on competition. Because I was a music major, I'm no longer a music major. But
the choir back here, they all excited. They're like, yeah!
But so I was going to college classically for flute, and so all the way up to high school, middle school, like teachers saw, oh, Summer, you're really good, and so I started taking lessons, and I was competing in honor bands. I went all the way up to I was second in state, and I was like, okay, well, from here you go to college because that's what the good people do. And after a while, I was like, so I'm going through the motion of doing what other people want you to do, playing this repertoire, doing exactly those things. And that was a whole other lesson that I learned. But I think really that's one point they say is basically you're never going to stop learning. And it's really hard to be the best in this field. Or it's just kind of, there's no end. And I had learned so many other lessons in just what I wanted to do, but that had taught me, I'm like, Summer, you're going to keep climbing. You're going to exhaust yourself. You're going to overdo it. If you are trying to be like them, be exactly that, because it's possible, but you're no longer going to be yourself if you keep going that way. So that's my lesson I learned with that.
So comparisons, did you happen to deal with, when it comes to comparisons, was that something that you struggle with? Are you ready?
Yes, I'm
You're in the
ready.
hot seat. I got to prepare her. All right, go.
Yes, I did. I went to a charter school in my high school for the last 2 years, and it was always a competition on who would finish first. We had booklets to finish, and you had 10 booklets in each subject, and it was always harder for me to get my booklets done than other people. But people would always be like, "Oh, well, she's dumb and she's this." So, I'm trying to find ways. I'm like, shoot, maybe I should just. This is not a good idea, so don't do it. Maybe I should just cheat and try to get a little bit ahead, just so somebody, so I can be ahead of them. Because you get into that, that everybody learns differently. It takes time for some other people, but when you see everybody else keeps passing you, and you're like, I'm still here. Wait, what am I supposed to do? You're like, oh, I need to catch up. But then my last year in high school, I was just like, man, I'm tired of all this competition. I'm tired of trying to get ahead of everybody. I can't keep doing this and end up messing myself up, because then by the time I get into college, I'm not going to know any of this stuff. And they're going to be like, well, you graduated high school. But no, that's what I had to learn about, is you got to go on your own pace and not try to follow everybody else, because that can mess up yourself in the long run.
All right. T, you've been in the background. You've been just listening. You've been doing so good. I'm so proud of you. All right, we're getting ready to wrap up in just a little bit. So I want to get some perspective from you hearing from the millennials, because we actually really could have a much longer conversation about this. And I'm going to have some ending words from each of you in just a moment. But I want to hear your perspective, T. T?
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here. You would like to hear my perspective overall?
Yes, get it.
Okay, get it. Overall, as far as what everyone has just stated, I think it goes back to empowering these young individuals and sharing the knowledge that has impacted you. And that means having those conversations, those hard conversations. We touch bases on credit. The one thing that I heard individuals stating, we're talking about credit cards, interest rates. However, the one thing that I noticed that they did not state was how to pull their credit. So that's information that needs to be shared, of understanding how to pull your credit, what a credit score is, what the 3 credit bureaus are, and making sure that you're pulling your credit every year and setting those goals to do that. Another thing that you touched bases was on understanding or not comparing yourself, staying in the race, making sure that you know who you are. And that means not comparing yourself. My name is Tamara. There is no one else like me. There's individuals that are on this panel. There's no one else like you guys. So understanding that, long as you continue to stay in the race, then you keep moving forward. I like the fact that you touch bases on the college, understanding community college versus the universities, making sure that it's lessons learned. Each one of them touch bases on that, of sharing their testimony of what they learned. So that goes to setting that pride aside and saying, hey, I didn't understand that. Hey, you over there, you got a study group. Let me get in. What are we studying? And that causes for you to put your pride aside so that you can learn and you can elevate and you can grow. So just like you're sitting here on this panel and we want to know what is going on with the millennials, that means in your generation, you will next be on the panel and you would share what you learned.
Ow. Okay, so I want to know, my question for each of you, how we're going to end this is, we're going to start with Will. Big Will. Okay, so the question is, did you find this helpful? And would you invite somebody else to be a part of something like this? Do you really feel like if somebody was to invite you to this, to watch this, that this would be helpful, and how can we continue this? Go.
I would have invited my whole little dorm, all my roommates, all my friends in Dallas that go to Cedar Valley. I would have invited them to watch this, because I mean it's always great to get somebody else's opinion. You learn like their perspective on the situation. It's not like you can't always look at you can't be one way. You can't be like just inside your head. Sometimes it's always good to get somebody else's opinion on the situation to know how you could do it better, how you could succeed in another way. There's always multiple ways to do something, not just one way. And for this, I actually did learn some stuff. Of course, my mom, she teaches me every day with pool credit. I heard it. I'm gonna still ask what it means probably next week. The military thing, that's a lot of information, because military is always like on the back of my mind if I should go to the military and things like that. And then the school is always tough. You can't compete with nobody. You just gotta be on yourself. You gotta grind by yourself.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, Melvin, we've had this for you, for the other millennials. What do you think did you enjoy this? Would you like to be a part of the panel? What would you like? What are your last words? Share with us.
I enjoyed this panel because it gave a lot of insightful information about credit. Also, it made me feel better about doing community college first, because at first I was struggle, because after high school, I jumped right into school. I didn't take a break. So I jumped right into community college, trying to get an associate's and then move on to my bachelor's. I will also invite other millennials to do a panel as well, because they will learn more stuff and also get a better idea, and they may provide even more information we left out. It also helps me understand credit as well. I still ask my mom and dad about credit as well, pulling credit. And it also just helps me think more about the bigger picture, because I was more so focused on one thing of the picture. Now I can see the whole picture about how important credit is, about later on down the road about having a house, or later on down the road about purchasing a new car.
Good job. Thank you so much. All right, Darius, it's you, sir.
Yeah, I would definitely invite people to tune in and stuff like that. Pretty much like my brother said, Will. I'm always looking for someone else's perspective, because I'm in the same boat. When we think of our own perspective, it's always going to be one side. We're always going to not see something, because as human beings, we are obligated to our opinion. We're pretty much set in one way until someone else say, "Hey, man, why don't you think about that?" And I'm always telling people, how can we fix issues if we don't talk about it?
Come on here, girl.
Yeah, because I that's what I feel like people have gone to. Just like, hey, if we don't talk about it, it will fix itself. And in my opinion, that's idiotic. That doesn't make sense. You gotta talk about it to fix it. And that's pretty much it. I enjoy stuff like that.
That's awesome. Awesome. All right, Summer.
Yes. In addition, I really enjoyed this. First of all, honestly, it helped me because I was like, wait, I gotta go check that other bank account and make sure I don't got no overdraft fees. So this was very helpful for that. But also, I think I love to be around people. And since I've moved back on the East Coast, I haven't been around people. So I think this type of interaction, even if it's online, I think that's helpful just to see people. Honestly, I'd want to keep the conversation going. And I thought future ideas, maybe just one subject and keep the conversation going on different subjects, but I love it all. And in addition, I'm more so taking my pause in the middle of college. So I did college 2 years and pausing, and it was like an earthquake change, but it helped me slow down. And I think that's also a important theme in this talk that we've been mentioning is slowing down, and your way isn't necessarily the only way or the best way. And usually when other people are involved, things change and we understand other perspectives. And I think that's really the important thing about this walk we have in life. So yeah, that's what I got to say.
Good stuff. Yes. All right. Des, what you got?
I would definitely invite some of my friends, especially, to come to this because, as you're going through things, you realize at first you feel like, oh man, I'm going through this all by myself. Nobody else understands me until you get with a group of people who are around your age and you start realizing that at least like out of let's say there's 50 people. Out of those 50 people, there's like 45 who are going through the exact same thing as you. And then you realize you kind of find it a little bit easier to go through some of that stuff because even if none of y'all know how to get through it, at least you know that y'all could probably get through it together. Because it always makes it better to have somebody who's going through the same thing as you because you feel like you're not alone. And I just think it would be good because I feel like most millennials don't have anybody to talk to. And, of course, talking to somebody that's older than you is okay. But actually talking to people that are around your age seems like to help a little bit better because you're like, okay, we can do this together. So, yeah, I would love to do this again.
Awesome. Hot seat switch and go. Y'all normally don't see this part. Go.
This was very enlightening. Just
come on, use your words. Yes, act like you went somewhere. Yes.
Just the fact that it's more diverse. You still get a man's perspective on things like credit, things like school. It's something that I would invite my friends that are down in Killeen. That's just to get another viewpoint of it. Because we all walk in the same. Like we're walking the same life, but we got on different shoes. So our paths are gonna be similar but different.
Yes. Y'all killing me. Wow. We're rocking this life with different shoes. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean are you done? Yeah, I'm okay. Sorry. Switch. I'm a little thrown off sometimes. I apologize, guys.
Hey. No, she's about to ask me the question again or what? No. So I would definitely invite some of my friends, most definitely, to listen in on this because when you get out of high school or when you're just in school, period, or just growing childhood, you need to be in line, like you said, and you need to understand like things in life that's going to carry you, like your credit. That's really your reputation where you can go in somewhere and say, hey, I want this, and I know I ain't gonna pay no down payment. You. Those things are very helpful and prepare you for the world. And like she was saying earlier, it seems like sometimes you're doing things and life is passing you and people is passing you. But then sometimes when you get to where you're going, those people that passed you, you see them on the side, out of commission, and you be like, well, I thought. Right. But see, that's why you work at your own pace. And I try not to get distracted by seeing what other people are doing and things like that. Even though I support them, hey, if you making it and you putting forth the effort and work ethic, good, I'm gonna meet you to the top. That's it. It's not we're gonna all get there at the same time, but it's that we all can get there. But we ain't gotta get there at the same time. So I just think that
you better go ahead and preach now. Yes, you better teach, sir.
I just think that just be more involved about these things and interaction people to be like you don't have to be in person, but even over like the webinar and things like that, it'll help keep young people engaged in topics of things and stuff like this. And so when they go out to the world, they'll be able to use these tactics and be able to use these tools. So.
Yes, I got some amazing folks. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Come on here. AJ in the house.
Hello. I would definitely recommend this to other millennials and stuff because I feel like changing a perspective changes a mindset. Change mindset changes a lifestyle, and I think as when you change lifestyles, it just makes for a whole better community and everything. So that's one thing.
Oh, y'all are like brilliant. I just want to let you know, Sam, I don't know about you, T, but I just knew I wasn't this aware. Everybody on this panel showed me up for when I was their age.
Come on through. Come on through.
Like, wait. Okay, so I want to say thank you all so much for being a part of this. Oh, I forgot my own child. Hold on. It was not charge, as the old folks say, charge it to my head, baby, not my heart. Come on.
Okay, what do you want to say too? Okay, I just want to say that I think this is very helpful for millennials, and I think like everybody like in different like stages in their life should do something like this, just to kind of like bounce off ideas and different things off of each other, because like everybody has their own opinions and everybody has their own path. One thing I was gonna say is comparison is dangerous. That it can really discourage you. So one thing you have to realize is that you are your own person. You have your own way, your own journey. And that's like the biggest thing that I've been learning. And it's like, it's okay if you don't have everything together right now. You know, you go through your whole life trying to figure out who you are, but that's okay. You know, you make mistakes, you fall, but you got to pick yourself back up again. You got to keep going, keep pushing, and it's going to be okay. And like, hopefully you have people in your life, whether they don't even have to be there physically. They can be there online or somewhere. You can talk to them on the phone. Find someone to lift you up and encourage you, and just to kind of like bounce off and vent to. That's really important. And so they can encourage you to keep going and keep pushing, because this life is hard, but it's, you know, you just got to pick yourself back up, dust yourself off, and keep going. So
Very good. And I almost forgot my baby. I'm so sorry. Look, I'm sorry, honey. I apologize. Okay, all better. Okay, listen, guys. There's a misconception that says y'all don't listen, right, T? They just don't listen. They don't want to hear nothing. You guys have literally dispelled that myth that you do listen. You're not being heard. People aren't, you know what, DeAndre, you said something the last time, and you're actually the reason why we're having this right now. You're the reason why. He and I had talked about it before and saying that it would be a good idea to have a panel of people to come together, whatever. But you actually are the one who pushed it over and said, okay, this will happen. And you said, nobody ever asked you. I hadn't even thought about something that simple is, you know, we're older, so we're thinking, what can we do to engage in all of this? And he simply said, no one ever asked. And I was like, wow. So when we ask you, we need you to say something. We appreciate it. Will, I want to thank you for being just who you are. I appreciate what you bring. You've got an amazing mind. The mindset that you have moving forward. You've learned some lessons. Keep pushing forward. Melvin, proud of you. You're doing an amazing job. It's been a pleasure to meet you. I will definitely be having you back on the show again. You can thank Darius and Will for you being here. Darius, you doing it down there. Ooh, ooh, we appreciate all the hard work you are doing. You are literally a testimony of taking some licks, and you keep on ticking, and you are continuing to press forward. Very proud of you for that. Summer, I'm elated to finally actually see your face. I've heard great things about you, but to actually see your beautiful face and to hear your opinions, it was very much necessary and needed. DeAndre, thank you for coming in-house. Ooh, ooh, Mr. Military himself. That brought a whole nother scope and a whole nother mindset to us, and something that we actually hadn't even thought about. Jalen, Mr. Bankman, doing his thing. How old are you? He's 22 years old. He's in the banking industry, so he's giving y'all a perspective that other people have not or may not even think to, because he's working in the banking industry. And you got Miss Poet over here, gee whiz, she dropping bombs left and right. We weren't ready. I need a dictionary. I'm like, hold on, slow down. Let me process what you're saying. Zania is our engineer behind the scenes. She's the one who's been doing all these things. I could not do what I'm doing without her. And then you got Desiree. That music that y'all hear, and she wrote the song. She produced the song. Y'all are amazing young adults. I want to tell you to keep pushing. We will definitely have this next month. So we will be talking to you offline. Think about some ideas. Talk to your peers. Find out. Let's talk about what happened is we kind of just threw it in there just to kind of get our feet wet to see what was going to stick, what we liked. What we see now is we can actually do one specifically on credit. We can do one specifically on being who you are. Like, we can actually break one subject down at a time and actually have and talk about that at length. And I think that it would be beneficial. So I apologize for the technical difficulties. I do not know what happened, but it was definitely a pleasure to meet all of you guys and to hear your opinions And so go ahead and cue the music. We get ready to cue the music. We're going to wave to everybody, tell you goodbye. Make sure you guys all have our email addresses. We'll make sure we keep in touch. Y'all make sure, let me know what y'all think. Give me your ideas. And y'all have a marvelous day. Cue the